He thought his wife's necklace was buried with her, until one morning he saw it shining around the neck of his maid. In that moment his heart stopped, because what he discovered next was not theft, not coincidence, but a truth so painful it would change his life forever. Stay with me, because this story doesn't unfold the way you expect. It was supposed to be just another ordinary morning, the kind that passed quietly without leaving a mark. The house was still, too still, the kind of silence that reminded him of everything he had lost. The CEO stood near the large glass window of his mansion, holding a cup of coffee he had already forgotten to drink. Outside, the city was waking up, but inside this house, time had stopped 3 years ago, the day his wife died. He was a man the world admired, powerful, wealthy, respected. People thought he had everything, but no one saw the empty chair at his dining table. No one heard the silence in his bedroom at night. Success had not saved him from grief. If anything, it had made it lonelier. That morning, something felt off. As he turned away from the window, his eyes fell on the maid cleaning the living room. She was new, hired only a few weeks ago. Quiet, respectful, almost invisible. She never spoke unless spoken to. He had barely noticed her before. But today, something around her neck caught the light. His breath stopped. It was a necklace. Not just any necklace. It was his late wife's necklace. A delicate gold chain with a sapphire pendant shaped like a teardrop. He had designed it himself years ago on a quiet night when his wife had fallen asleep on the couch. It was custom made. One of a kind, impossible to duplicate. His hands began to shake. That necklace was supposed to be locked in the safe. Or buried with her. For a brief second, he convinced himself it was his grief playing tricks on him. Grief had done that before, made him hear her footsteps, see her shadow in the hallway. He blinked, took a deep breath, looked again. The necklace was still there, hanging against the maid's uniform like it had always belonged to her. The coffee cup slipped from his hand and shattered on the floor. The sound echoed through the room. The maid turned around, startled. "Where did you get that?" he asked. His voice was calm, but something dark lived underneath it. The maid froze, her eyes widened. Her hand slowly rose to her neck, fingers curling around the pendant as if to hide it. I'm sorry, sir," she whispered. "I didn't mean to—" "Answer me," he said, stepping closer. Now the air felt heavy. The walls felt like they were closing in. She swallowed hard. Tears filled her eyes. "It was my mother's," she said softly. His chest tightened. "That's impossible," he replied. "That necklace belonged to my wife." Silence. Then she shook her head. "No, sir," she said. "It belonged to my mother. Before it belonged to your wife?" His heart slammed against his ribs. "What are you saying?" he asked slowly. She hesitated, then took a deep breath, as if opening a door she had kept shut for years. "My mother worked in this house," she said. "A long time ago." Memories stirred in his mind. Old staff, forgotten faces. Names he never bothered to learn. "She worked here?" he repeated. "Yes, before your marriage, before the company grew, before everything changed." He felt dizzy. "That necklace," he said, his voice low, "I gave it to my wife." "I know," she replied. "My mother gave it to her." He stared at her, disbelief written across his face. "That makes no sense." Slowly, she reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, worn photograph. The corners were bent. The image faded. She held it out with trembling hands. "Please, look at this." He took the photo, his breath caught. It was his wife, younger, smiling the way she used to before life became heavy, standing beside another woman, her arm wrapped around her shoulder. And around that woman's neck, the same necklace. The other woman's face struck him hard, those eyes. The same eyes as the maid standing in front of him. "That's my mother," the maid whispered, his world tilted. He remembered now, his wife had spoken about a close friend, a woman she trusted deeply, someone who helped her during a dark time, someone who vanished suddenly, without explanation. "What happened to her?" he asked quietly. The maid looked down. "She got sick," she said, "very sick." He waited. She needed money for treatment, she continued. But she didn't want to ask anyone for help. She didn't want pity. His throat tightened. So she sold the necklace, the maid said, to someone who promised to take care of it. Pain shot through him. My mother said that necklace wasn't valuable because of gold or stones, she added. She said it carried love. He felt something break inside his chest. After she passed away, the maid continued, her voice shaking, I searched for that necklace everywhere. When I finally found it, I had nothing else left of her, so I wear it. To feel close to her. He looked at her again, really looked at her. She wasn't a thief. She wasn't lying. She was someone holding on to the last piece of her mother. Then why are you here? He asked softly. Why work in this house? She hesitated, then answered honestly. Because my mother loved this place, she said. She said this. House changed her life. I just wanted to be close to where she once belonged. Guilt washed over him like a wave. His wife had kept secrets. His house held stories he never cared to hear. And now, standing before him, was proof that his grief was not the only one that mattered. He handed the photograph back, his hands trembling. You don't need to apologize, he said quietly. I do, the maid looked up, confused. For? What? She asked. For never asking, he replied. For never listening. The silence returned, but this time it wasn't empty. It was full of truth. As he looked at the necklace once more, memories of his wife flooded his mind. Her kindness, her belief that everyone carried pain silently. And in that moment, he realized something that shook him deeply. This necklace wasn't just a memory. It was a bridge to a truth he was never ready to face, and what he would discover next would change everything. He didn't sleep that night. The house felt different after that conversation, as if the walls themselves had started whispering secrets. Every room carried memories he had ignored for years. His wife's laughter, her footsteps, her quiet strength. And now, layered over all of that, was the presence of the maid, the daughter of someone his wife once loved like family. The next morning, he called her into his study. She stood near the door, hands folded, eyes lowered, clearly afraid she had done something wrong. Sit, he said gently. She hesitated, then sat at the edge of the chair. I want to hear everything, he said. From the beginning. She took a deep breath. My mother's name was Amina, she began. She came to work here when she was very young. She used to say your wife treated her like a sister, not a servant. His chest tightened. She helped her through difficult days, the maid continued. When your wife felt lonely, when you were busy building your empire, my mother was there. The words cut deeper than he expected. She never blamed you, she added quickly. She admired you, but she knew your wife needed someone. He closed his eyes briefly. What happened between them? He asked. The maid hesitated. My mother got sick, she said again. But this time, it wasn't just illness. She looked up at him, her eyes filled with something heavier than sadness. She was accused of stealing. His heart skipped. Stealing? He repeated. Yes, she said softly. A large amount of money went missing. Everyone blamed her. His stomach twisted. No, he whispered. That can't be right. My mother begged them to investigate, the maid said. But no one listened. She was fired the same day. The room felt suffocating. Your wife tried to stop it, she continued. But the decision had already been made. A sharp pain shot through him. He remembered now. A brief argument, a complaint from management. A signature he had signed without reading too much. Just another problem solved quickly, or so he thought. She left here with nothing, the maid said. No job, no savings, and then she got worse. He felt sick. That necklace, she continued, touching it lightly, was the only valuable thing she had. Your wife had given it to her as a promise. She sold it to pay for treatment. Tears burned his eyes, and after that? He asked. She passed away, the maid said quietly, holding this house in her heart. Silence filled the room. Stood up abruptly and turned toward the window, struggling to breathe. I didn't know, he said. I swear, I didn't know. I believe you, she replied. My mother never blamed you either. That hurt even more. Days passed, but the truth refused to leave his mind. He started digging. Records, old files, security logs. Something he hadn't looked at in years. And then he found it. The money that went missing had never been stolen. It had been transferred. By his own brother. The betrayal hit him like a punch to the chest. His brother had used Amina as a shield, knowing she wouldn't fight back. Knowing no one would question it, he felt rage boil inside him. That evening, he called the maid back into the study. "I owe you and your mother justice," he said firmly. Her eyes widened. "What do you mean, sir?" "I mean," he said, "this story doesn't end like this." He reinstated Amina's name publicly, cleared her reputation, issued an apology. One he wished he had made years ago, but something still felt incomplete. One night, while going through his wife's old belongings, he found a letter. It was addressed to him, written years ago. He had never opened it. His hands trembled as he unfolded the paper. "If you're reading this," the letter said, "it means I'm no longer here to say these words myself." His heart pounded. "Amina is innocent. Please don't let her suffer because of our silence. And if one day you meet her child, treat her as your own." Tears streamed down his face. His wife had known. She had tried to protect them, and he had failed. The next morning, he did something no one expected. He offered the maid a new position. Not as staff, but as family, education, support, a future she never imagined, she cried. "I don't want charity," she said. "This isn't charity," he replied. "It's responsibility." As she left the room, he sat alone, holding the necklace in his hand. For the first time, it didn't feel like a symbol of loss. It felt like a chance to fix what was broken, but the biggest test was still ahead, because the person responsible for all this was about to walk back into his life, and when that happened, everything would change again. The day his brother returned, the house felt colder than ever. He hadn't seen him in years. Business trips, excuses, distance, it was easy to stay away when guilt lived in your shadow. But now the truth was out, and there was nowhere left to hide. The CEO stood in the living room, calm on the outside but burning inside. The maid, Amina's daughter, stood quietly near the staircase, unsure of her place in what was about to unfold. The door opened. His brother walked in with a confident smile, the same smile that once fooled everyone. "Brother," he said warmly, "it's been too long." No reply. "Is something wrong?" the brother asked, glancing around. "Yes," the CEO said. "Everything." The smile slowly faded. "We need to talk," he continued. They sat across from each other. Silence stretched between them like a loaded weapon. "Do you remember Amina?" the CEO asked. The brother stiffened for just a second. "Barely noticeable. But enough." "Of course," he replied casually. "The maid who stole money." The room went still. "She didn't steal anything," the CEO said calmly. "You did." The brother laughed nervously. "What are you talking about?" "I know about the transfer," he said. "I know you used her as cover." The color drained from his brother's face. "This is ridiculous," he snapped. "You're choosing a servant over your own blood?" "No," the CEO replied. "I'm choosing truth over lies." The brother stood up angrily. "You're making a mistake." "No," he said firmly. "I made that mistake years ago." Security entered the room. The brother realized then it was over. As he was escorted out, the CEO felt no victory. Only relief. That night he sat with Amina's daughter. "I can't change the past," he said, "but I can protect your future." She looked at him, tears in her eyes. "You already have," she said. Months passed. She returned to school. Then, university. He watched her grow into someone confident, strong, someone her mother would be proud of. One evening, she placed the necklace on the table between them. "I want you to keep it," she said. He shook his head. "It belongs to you." "It belongs to both our families now," she replied. He smiled for the first time in years. The house felt alive again, not because of wealth. Because of truth, forgiveness, and second chances. Sometimes the most painful discoveries don't destroy us. They save us.